Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me today. As you can see, I've got a review here for you of the Schpirerr Farben Colored Pencils. I'm probably butchering that name, but before I get into the actual review, I just want to let you know that a few days ago I done a live stream and it was just kind of like a test. I didn't notify anybody. I just done it just to see if the equipment that I had was going to work and that type of thing, and it worked fine. I just wanted to test the layout. So from now on going forward, I am going to be doing live streams, maybe 1 or 2 a month. It just depends how it goes. If I can come up with enough content to be able to do with the live stream, but they will be featured in the channel along the way. When I do this, I will obviously be putting notifications out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll do that perhaps a day before, maybe even a couple of days before, with a date and a time on it. And also as well, if you go across to the Art Gear Guide, you'll see that there's a link there to subscribe to a newsletter that I have. Now, I haven't really used that to its full potential, but I will be going forward because of the fact that, you know, if I'm going to be scheduling in live streams, I'm going to put those in the newsletter and send them out to people so that you can get an idea of when the next one's going to be. Some of them will just be ordinary Q&As type of thing, asking me questions if you want about particular products, any type of products. Some of them will be just completely based around, like, say, Caran d'Ache. So I might do one live stream one day and it'll be all Caran d'Ache products. I'll get all the Caran d'Ache products out that I have, and you can ask me questions about them or ask me what one is like against the other. And then, you know, the same thing for maybe a Derwent one or a Kohinoor one, Spectrum Noir, that type of thing. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen on the channel going forward. I did a live stream quite a while ago. I didn't have a very good experience on it. It turned out really bad. I'm sure anybody that was on that live stream will know what happened. I don't want to go into it now, but that was the reason why I never really got round to doing live streams again. But I've put all that behind me now, and so that's what's going to happen. So anyway, into the review. So as you can see here, I've got a review here of the Schpirerr Farben Colored Pencils. Now, I've sent the company a couple of emails trying to get them to clarify a couple of questions that I have, but I haven't heard back from them. So I contacted them a while ago because they're a very difficult pencil to get hold of here in the UK. And I wanted to buy the pencils direct from the company. And the first email that I sent, they got back to me and they said, yeah, don't worry, you don't have to buy the pencils. We'll send them to you if you just pay for the shipping. And I was like, yeah, that's no problem. But I never heard back from them. So I got this set of pencils sent to me by Ann Kullberg because she knew that I was wanting to do it. She obviously lives in America, so she got hold of them and sent them over to me. So thank you so much, Ann, for sending them over. But they are difficult to get hold of in the UK, and I'll talk more about that later on. One of the questions that I wanted to ask the company is the origin of the pencils. So as you can see here, the tin, it's a beautiful tin, beautiful artwork on the front of it. The logo Schpirerr Farben, it gives the user or the potential buyer kind of like the idea that it's, you know, quite an expensive pencil. It doesn't look like it's a cheap tin or anything like that. The logo looks very regal, that type of thing. And it appears to me that that's a German name. So I wanted to know, because on their website and on the tin it says that the pencils are made in China. It's got a German name on the tin, but you can only really get them in America. And so it's kind of quite confusing, and I just wanted to try and get the company to pinpoint where the origin of these pencils is from, or where they're categorizing them as from, but I didn't get anything back from them. So anyway, in terms of sets that are available, there is only one set available. It's a 72 set. Now, again, I asked them, have they got any plans in coming out with smaller sets or bigger sets, or what's the reason why they haven't done smaller sets? And there was no reply. But my perception is, what I think is the reason why there's no smaller sets is because the price of these is really inexpensive. If you go across to the Art Gear Guide on the written review, the prices will be up over there, but they're really inexpensive pencils. And so to have maybe a 12 or 24 set, you'd be talking hardly anything at all, and it probably isn't worth their while manufacturing a set of 12 and 24 to sell them at that lower cost. So the 72 set is the only set that they have. So let's take a look inside the tin. Okay, so when you open the tin, the first thing that you see in here is this little note. Now, I think it's a really nice touch, actually, that these little notes are inside this tin. Basically, it just says, thank you for purchasing the Schpirerr Farben Colored Pencils. I chose the best materials to assemble the perfect set. I hope that the Schpirerr Farben Colored Palette will inspire you to create colour and captivate your imagination. You can find the SF colour chart on the website for your convenience, which you can. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and Schpirerr Farben at #Schpirerr Farben, so I can see your artwork. Don't forget to leave a review on my Amazon page. Your opinion matters to me. And when you read that letter, it almost sounds like this is a very, very small operation. This is not like a big company trying to do this. This is like a one person or maybe a small family operation doing these pencils, which is, there's nothing wrong with that at all, especially when I get into the performance of the pencils. But I just think that's a really nice touch. So just let me put that to the side. On the back of the tin as well, you've got a little bit of information here. It just says artist grade quality, premium pigments, bright vivid colours, colour number on the pencil, deep saturated colours, oil based lead, I'll get into that in a second, and non-toxic. So I'll have some images popping up here on the screen of the different layers of the pencils here, because the pencils that I have in this tin have been used, and I don't like showing used pencils or new sets used type of thing. I like showing you how the pencils come exactly in the tin. So you can see the different layers there, the different colors that are available. They've got a beautiful color range, actually. There's only one color in this set that I wasn't too happy with this selection, and that was more to do with the subject matter of the art that I was creating with these pencils, and I'll talk about the art in a second. But you can see all the lovely, beautiful colors that are available. The browns in this set are just to die for. There's a ruby brown in here, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The greens are really nice. The browns are just amazing. The reds and pinks and stuff like that. It's a really nice palette, all in all. In fact, the artwork that I've done with these pencils, I think, is probably my best artwork so far. It was a horse, so that's why I really enjoyed the browns, because the browns really were rich and vibrant in this set. You'll see an image of the artwork popping up here. I also have a speed drawing of the artwork as well, so if you want to go across and see the speed drawing, see the demonstration of the pencils, by all means do so. The link for that will be down below. Also on the tin here as well, there's a little bit about Alfred Sisley, but I'm not going to read all that out to you. It's just about an oil painter and the canvas by Renoir type of thing. So let's take a look at the pencils themselves, the characteristics of the pencils. So they're a very slim pencil, not very slim, but they're a slim pencil. It's a 3.3mm core and it's a 7.3mm barrel. The pencils, as you look at them, so they're kind of like a two-tone. So the bottom half of the pencil, all of the pencils, all 72 of them, have this gold band at the lower half of the pencil, so towards the core. And then the top half of the pencil has the pigment identifier. So whatever color is inside the core is depicted on the second half of the pencil barrel, which makes like visually selecting colors really easy, because you've got a lot of color there to see on the pencil, so it's really easy to select. Some pencils have just like a little bit in the top, some don't even have that. With regards to, I'm separating the gold and the pigment identifier. It's just this little silver band, which is just purely decorative. With regards to information on the pencil, there's not very much. It's quite minimalistic. So on one side of the barrel, you've got the Schpirerr Farben here and the logo. And then on the opposite side, we have the pigment name. and then the pigment number, and separating those two is again just like a little decorative diamond. Now, although the pigment number is on there, they, like I said earlier on with the sets, they don't come open stock. Maybe one day they'll be available open stock. Who knows? And then the ends of the pencil are capped as well, so they're quite a nice looking pencil. They're really nice and comfortable to hold. On the written bit that I did, over the time of doing these reviews, I've heard a lot of different stories from artists and stuff like that, in particular, obviously, color pencil artists, and some people have problems grip and hold the slim pencils, that type of thing. If you go across to the written review that I have, I've got a link over there to certain attachments that you can put on the pencils, which increase the grip, allow somebody who's maybe got arthritis in their hands, that type of thing, to hold on to the pencil a little bit better. It was just something that came into my mind when I was writing the review, and I remember some people telling me that they find it difficult, and so I just wanted to add that link over there. If you want to go across, take a little look at some of the attachments that I found that can go on the pencils. Okay, so let's take a look at the swatch, because I've obviously swatched the pencils out, and this is the colors. So I tested. I'll get into the performance of the pencil in a second. So just let's take a look at the colors that are available here first of all. So at the top here, we've got all these yellows coming down into these burnt siennas, ochres, that type of thing. Reds, creams, pinks and purples down at the bottom. And then on the opposite side, we've got all the blues. Now, I'll have some images of this coming up on the screen, but if you also go across to the written review on the art gear guide, I'll have images over there where you can click on the image, it'll enlarge the image, and you can see the swatch a little bit better. But in general, like I say, I think the browns were gorgeous. The reds, the deep reds that they had, I really enjoyed it. And for the artwork that I've done with these pencils, it worked really well. The only one part of the pencils, or the palette, that I didn't like was the yellows. On the horse that I was drawing, there was a bit of brass that needed doing. And obviously, when you're doing brass, you don't just use yellow or something like that to depict brass. There's lots of other colors that go into it to give it that that effect that it's metal. And I just couldn't get the right yellows. Now I think that was more just specific to the artwork that I was doing. I'm sure maybe ordinarily the yellows would be okay if you were doing like flowers or landscape, that type of thing. But I just couldn't find the right yellow that I needed to do it. So I had to use a different pencil just for two particular yellow tones that I needed, and the rest of the colors were fine. But that was the only issue that I had with these pencils. So with regards to the performance of the pencils, so on the tin it says that they're oil-based pencils. Now, for those of you that have followed me for quite some time now, you will know that I don't like referring to pencils as oil or wax-based pencils, and the reason being is because when I first started out doing reviews, I used that's how I categorized pencils. So this is a wax-based pencil, this is an oil-based pencil. But over the years, when I've been talking to companies and talking to the people who deal with the ingredients of the pencils, a lot of them have come forward to me and said, we don't know where this idea has come, where the pencils are, specifically oil or specifically wax, because whilst the ingredients are secret in every company, they'll not tell you what the ingredients are. There's a combination of all manner of waxes and clays and oils that go into them. So there's not really such a thing as a specifically oil-based pencil or specifically wax-based pencil. It's just not there. And I know that the companies put, like on this, with this company, that they're oil-based. I think what they're better saying is that perhaps maybe that they're oil feeling, or that they look oily or they look waxy, because I can understand that these pencils do. The best way I could describe when I was using these pencils is kind of like, when you're doing baking with your mum, and you've got that beautiful, thick, gloopy, silky texture of a mixture when you're doing baking. When I was using these pencils and laying them down, there was that beautiful silky, almost glossy like feel going across the paper. I tested them on 4 different papers, so Bristol Smooth, Bristol Vellum, Bristol Plate, the 500 series of Strathmore, and 140-pound watercolor paper as well. The pencils performed beautifully in all of them. Now this test here, which I always do, the top layer is a light, just one single light layer. Middle layer is 5 light layers, and then the bottom layer here is 1 heavy application. Now, just in case you're new to the channel, the reason why I do 5 light layers is because it's generally considered with color pencil artists that if you're going to be using odorless mineral spirits, that at the very least you have 5 layers down there before you apply the odorless mineral spirits. So that's why I do this test. Incidentally, when I was doing this test, I did use some odorless mineral spirits just to see what it was like, and it reacted beautifully. And I was able to get 20 layers by doing 5 layers odorless mineral spirits, then another 5 layers. And to be quite honest with you, I possibly could have gone on further. And that's one of the joys and beauties. I personally don't use odorless mineral spirits, but I know that one of the joys of using it is that when you use the odorless mineral spirits on, say, your first 5 layers, it brings back the tooth of the paper, which allows you to put more layers down and build in that depth. That's why a lot of color pencil artists use that particular method. Down at the bottom here, you can see I've done a little bit of blending, a little bit of mixing here. I actually did this last night because I recorded this video last night, but as I was walking away, I accidentally deleted the audio, so I had to do it again. But you can see here that the blend of this is just a blue and a yellow, and you can see here it's created a really nice green. Just let me lift that up. But the image again will be on the screen and over on the Art Gear Guide. But you can see it's created a nice green. In fact, actually, while I'm here, just let me show you it again on camera. But the best thing to do is to see the pencils, how they actually perform, is to watch the speed drawing that I have of the artwork. That's why I create artwork now with whatever product it is that I'm reviewing, because I do think that showing people swatches is all very well and good, and it does show you the fundamentals of the pencil, but sometimes doing proper artwork just helps to show what the product is capable of. And so it does take me longer now to do reviews because of that, because obviously to do some artwork with color pencils is time consuming. But it is worth it because I think it gives you guys a better understanding of what the product is like or what the product is capable of doing. So I'm just finishing up here. I'm just simply blending these 2 colors together to get this green. There you go. And that's that. So the other test that I always do for you is to show the pigments on black paper. So I'm not going to be doing layers or anything like that. I'm just going to show you what the pigments look like on dark paper, because I know a lot of color pencil artists enjoy using dark paper. So this is like a hot sun yellow. And you can see there, I mean, there is a bit of crumbling there, but like I say, let me zoom in a little bit here. There is a bit of, there, it's back into focus. There is a bit of crumbling, but I am using a really heavy pressure here, and it's just to get the pigment down on the black paper to let you see whether it's opaque or whether there's an opacity level to it. I'm just gonna, this is I think this is fuchsia pink. Now, in terms of sharpening the pencils as well, the pencil's sharpened really well, hold a nice point. Even though it has that soft, silky feel when it's going across the paper, the the points, the core holds a really nice point. I didn't have any issues with any of the pencils at all. You know, like in terms of breaking. I did drop a couple of pencils, 2 pencils I think it was, and the cores did shatter a little bit in those. So they're maybe a little bit more delicate than certain pencils, but certainly that was my fault. It had nothing to do with the pencils as they came. None of the other pencils I experienced any difficulty with. And last of all here, I've got this white, the Schpirerr Farben white pencil. You can see here it's quite a bit down. And actually, I've just said there it's quite a bit down, and this is what I think this is maybe one of the issues with these pencils, and it's more to do with a psychological issue. When I'm getting to this part here of the pencil, I'm thinking, oh, I'm nearly done. This pencil's nearly done, because we're so used to having kind of like a little small bit at the end here showing the pigment identifier, and so, but it's not really nearly done. It's not even halfway down. But subconsciously in my head, I'm looking at the pencil going, oh my goodness, I'm almost finished this pencil. Okay, so again, I'll have an image of this over in the art gear guide, so you can go across and take a look at the image properly. A lot of people say that the images look different than what you can see here on the camera, and that's just purely and simply because I use a Nikon digital LSR, SLR, so yeah, camera. It's a Nikon. It's a really nice camera, and it takes really, really high quality images. So that's why the image looks different from the still image looks different from a video camera. The resolution and everything is much, much different. There's loads of different factors at play. So that's just the reason why it is the way it is. And that's the reason why I always take images as well of anything that I'm doing, including the actual product itself, so that you can get a close-up of what the image looks like, or what the product looks like, or like the swatches, that type of thing. You can do it on your own time and enlarge it if you need to. Okay, so that's my review of the Schpirerr Farben. Now, I did say that I sent off a couple of questions to the company, and I haven't had a reply back. But if I do get a reply, I will certainly update the written review. But some of the questions that I asked was like the origin of the pencils. They're made in China, German name, but you can only get them in the US. So it's kind of like a mishmash of things, and I just wanted to know if the company wanted to specify what they would class these pencils as. Not that that's super important, but it might be information that people want. I also wanted to know if there's any possibility that these pencils will be sold in the UK more readily available in the UK and Europe, because I loved using these pencils. I thought they were beautiful, and like I say, go across to the art gear guide and you'll see the pricing of them as well. You'll see how inexpensive they are, but the quality of the pencils are gorgeous. So I wanted to know if they have any plans, and again, I haven't had anything back. Now, about 6 months ago, on the company's website, they had put up that they had run out of stock, but that only lasted for a short period of time, and then they had stock back in again. Now, when I was doing the price and looking for links and all the rest of it, I couldn't find any of these pencils for sale on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, or any Amazon in Europe. So I'm hoping that they're just going through a drought period again, because the pencils are so popular and that they have been well received by everybody. I know that other people have done reviews of them. I haven't watched other people's reviews, but I'm guessing that they've said good things about the pencils, because the pencils were really popular when they first came out. Everybody wanted to get hold of them and try them and use them. So if they do get back to me and they let me know what their plans are, I will let you know as well, because like I say, I had to get these from America, and I think that's possibly the only way people here in the UK are going to get hold of these. If they know people over in America, ask them and they will send them over to you. I think really that's about it now. Oh, the light fastness. There is no information with regards to light fast about these pencils. Now, that's not the end of the world. I've explained this time and time again about light fastness. Light fastness is only important to you as an artist if you're going to be doing commissions, or the work that you're going to be doing is going to be hung up in your house and you want it to last for a long time. That's when light fastness is important. I'm not saying light fastness isn't important. I'm not saying that. It is vitally important if you're going to be selling your work. But if you're like an adult, if you love doing the adult coloring books, or like me, the artwork that you're doing is just for yourself and it goes into a folder and you never see it again, it never sees the light of day again, then light fastness isn't such an important thing, which will also explain the pricing of these. Anyway, guys, that's it. I think this video is going on way too long now. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, keep an eye out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for notifications with regards to live streams that I'm going to be doing, and I really look forward to seeing you over in the live streams. I think it's one way for me to give back to you guys for all the support you've given me. It helps me interact with you guys a lot better, and so I'm really looking forward to getting into doing some live streams and just having some conversation with you, rather than just, answering questions on the comment section, that type of thing, which I have no problem doing. But I just like talking. Obviously, as you can tell, you watch my videos, you know I ramble on for days. I could do, but it's only because I'm stuck in the house by myself. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye.